Hey, Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we are looking at the Kohetsu VG5 Tsuchime or hammered Gyuto 210mm knife. So this line of knives has a core steel of VG5 full stainless steel with a heat treat rating of approximately 60 Rockwell, so not too hard, not too soft, kind of medium hardness. The stainless cladding over each side of that VG5 composes a 3-layer sandwich. So this is the construction of this knife, so it's not one single steel, it's not mono steel. And the cladding layer is there where it meets the edge, or the core steel at the edge, but it's a little hard to show on video. I'll see if I can do that. Again, Tsuchime means a pebble or hammered finish, so it's kind of got a lightly hammered finish on it. It's not deep hammering, but it does add some interest and texture to the finish. The weight on this knife is 6.7 ounces, 189 grams, so it's got a little heft to it. A lot of that's in the handle because of the full-tang Western construction. The edge length is right about 210 millimeters on the money, which is about 8 1/4 inches, and the overall length is about 335 millimeters, or a little over 13 inches. The spine thickness, these are thin knives, is about 1.8 millimeters, and it pretty much just holds that all the way down. We'll get a close-up look, but in the last inch or so, it does a nice distal taper down, and the tip's really thin right at the very, very tip. Not awful thin, but pretty darn thin. So it's not super delicate, but it does thin out nicely for performance. 45.75 millimeters is the height of this knife at the back of the blade. And then the handle, let's take a close-up look at it, is kind of your basic black Packwood handle, which is a stabilized wood product. And really nice fit and finish on the handle. Everything is tight, rivets, flush, tang flush, bolster and everything. So I've done a nice job on that, fit and finish wise. Handles on these are just kind of decent average size, not too big, not too small. Typical Kohetsu handle where you've got a bit pretty flat sides to the slabs on the handle, and then a pretty aggressive curve in or switch into the top and bottom. So a little on the boxy side, but not uncomfortable in the least. I just want to make you aware of that. They're not super rounded like, let's say, Takamura handles are. Just that's the Kohetsu style. It's kind of an actually cool angular look, interestingly enough. Nice looking bolster. So fit and finish is really nice on these. They've done a bit of a polished job on the right side. All these Kohetsu knives in general have a bit of a thinning contour to the right side of the blade into the edge for performance, and where they thin it down they actually polish it a bit, so that big polished area, it's not a edge bevel. This doesn't have a huge bevel. It's got a pretty small bevel because it's thin at the edge, but the left side of the blade has a bit less of that. That's kind of their standard. They do a little bit more towards the tip, but the right side of the blade is where they really contour it and thin it out. And again, that's pretty standard. It's still not a lefty or righty biased knife, in my opinion. I'm a lefty. I have no problem with these at all. You've got screened on kanji on the right side of the blade. You can see your textured finish there. And then here is the thinness of the blade. So about 1.8 or so. And we just pretty much hold that until you hit the grind. And it's pretty thin at the very tip. They've relieved the spine just a little bit, enough to make it very comfortable, as well as the choil, the back of the blade, so ready to roll out of the box there. Edge, I thought was a really nice edge, about 6, maybe even 7 out of 10. It's a really sharp out of the box, so they've done a nice job with the out-of-the-box edge on there. And here's the balance point just in front of the bolster. So pinch grip, kind of a negative, shouldn't say bias, but handle-weighted balance bias on it, and if you racket grip, it'll kind of be a little more in line with what you may be used to with the European style knife. If you're a pinch grip, again, that weight will be a little bit more in the handle. So let's take a look at the profile. The 180 did a really nice job with making the most of that profile, and the 210 here just kind of keeps it going. So they elongate that profile a little bit, and maybe not quite as much blade flat percentage-wise as the 180, but they've got a flat spot towards the rear third of the blade. And then you can see they've got a gentle belly, and then the tip is fairly high in relation to the height of the blade, so that means this front part, you've got a pretty aggressive upsweep to the belly, which means I can get this pretty high. Every knife's going to be slightly different, but this one you can get pretty high for rocking. So this rocks really nice. It's really a smooth profile, no bumps or hiccups. So I'd say this is a really good all-around profile. You can do some push-pull glide cuts, you can do some rocking, fairly high rocking, and you've got a little bit of a flat towards the rear. Not a pure push chopper, you know, or I should say chopper kind of profile, but pretty middle of the road. So just a nice line of knives. They've done a nice job with the look of these, and high quality construction, nice fit and finish, nice handle. Pulling wood out of my board there. So here you have the Kohetsu VG5 Tsuchime or hammered Gyuto 210mm knife.